Well, hello there.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, Kyle, how are you doing?
Doing good. Yourself?
Good, good, good. Welcome everybody to the eSports Toolbox special training presentation. Thank you for attending and thank you for your time. Now, you're in the right place if you'd like to learn how to earn up to $15,000 in scholarship funds for playing esports at the collegiate level. Today, we're here with Kyle Trapp of Shawnee State University in beautiful Ohio. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, how you doing?
I hear there's a little thunderstorm out there.
Yeah, it just showed up out of nowhere, so we'll be all right. It might get kind of crazy here in a little bit, but we'll be fine. We are right next to the
What?
river, so it gets pretty.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't interrupt the live feed here,
Yeah,
then I think we're gonna be okay, right?
yeah, we'll be fine.
Well, good. Well, I'll let Kyle introduce himself in a minute, but Kyle is a coach and director of the Shawnee State University new esports program. Now, we're going to go over a bunch of information today. During this webinar, it's probably going to last about 30 minutes to an hour, but we're going to learn a few things. Number one, we're going to learn what is Shawnee State University and who it's good for. Next, you're going to learn how you can get a college education from a top Princeton Review rated school in degrees such as technology and engineering or fine arts and digital simulation. Then you're going to learn how to participate and compete in an esports as an esports player in games like Overwatch, Hearthstone, Rocket League, League of Legends, and others. Next, and maybe most importantly, what places you can work at after getting a technology and engineering or fine arts degree and simulation degree at Shawnee State, and what it's like to be an esports player. So if you stay until the end of this webinar and this period of time with us, then you'll get access to the application. You'll get more information on how you can actually get started. But before we make any intros to Kyle and get into the program, we just wanted to, number one, thank you again for attending. And two, just really kind of begin with the end in mind. Imagine going to a school, learning one of the fastest growing and in-demand skills such as tech and engineering. Imagine playing esports in one of the fastest growing sports in college. And imagine being able to do that while earning a scholarship to pay for it. That's pretty amazing, right? Right, Kyle?
Yes, it is. Yes, it
I
is.
know Kyle thinks so. So let's get to it. Let's meet Kyle. And some of his other team members might be joining, but we're gonna play it by ear. But let's go ahead and meet Kyle. Kyle, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself, who you are, and a little bit more about the Shawnee State program, esports program.
Sure, no problem. So my name is Kyle Trapp. I am the head coach, director, recruiter, literally everything at Shawnee State University at the moment. I wear multiple hats just to get this program off the ground. This has been a passion for about 2.5 years for myself. A lot of work's been going into this. We have been recruiting like crazy, getting everything together. But just to give a little background on myself, I played competitively back when Black Ops 1 was a huge release. Played a lot of regional tournaments, a lot of smaller district tournaments, and went to a couple of state championships and that. That was the extent of where I played. And then I've always just been passionate about esports and where it's going and just the constant evolution of just what esports has been since the beginning. Unfortunately, my assistant's not going to be here today, but he has been pretty much at the forefront of the esports, epidemic since 2007 and much earlier. So he has been one of the best keys that I've had to this whole thing. So I'm excited
That's
to meet
great.
everybody. Thank you for checking out. Thanks for coming in. So
That's great. Now, can you tell us a little bit about more about Shawnee State? Now, this is a state university in Ohio. I understand, that some people might have questions about who Shawnee State is. They might not understand what the college is about, what programs you offer. I know it's very intensive in the digital arts and the technology and engineering side, but you offer other programs as well. But why don't you just kind of give us an overview of who Shawnee State is, the type of programs you offer, and just let everybody know kind of the ins and outs of the college.
So yeah, no problem. So Shawnee State is located in Portsmouth, Ohio. If you were to take your finger and put it on Cincinnati and put your finger on Columbus and follow Cincinnati down the river and goes directly down, you will find Portsmouth. We are just on the tip of Ohio at the bottom. We offer many degrees from game simulation designs on the engineering side, as well as the fine art side. We'll get into that much later. We offer a nursing program. All of our programs are fully accredited. We offer many educational programs, masters in education, as well as many other masters in business backgrounds and physical training. Trying to remember, because we did just start changing some degrees around, not just recently, but we have been adding degrees every year that I've been here, and I've been back for about 6.5 years. So
That's great.
Lots of new stuff. Yeah.
Well, then, and so you offer a number of degrees, but you're really well known for the technology and engineering degree, and the fine arts and digital simulation degree combined is the game design degree, is my understanding. So why don't we talk a little bit about kind of that specifically. First, before we kind of get into that, I know that that's been a top ranked program for you guys. And
Yeah.
I always like to kind of start with, okay, what's the importance of this? What, the technology continues to grow. More and more companies are adding technology departments, and even kind of art departments, design departments within their company. So it's one of the fastest growing career paths out there. So I always like to start with, okay, you guys have had this program for a little bit. What type of places are people working at after getting one of your #1 degrees out there?
Okay. So, well, personally, for my preference, once I graduated, I got my degree in the exact same, game art, the game design aspect. I started doing some work for some construction companies. Did a lot of freelance work here or there. As a couple of graduates we just had as of recently, back in December, we have a young man who has been working for Microsoft. He had an internship that we were able to get him back at his junior year, and he just was able to go directly into a job. We have a lot of people that are working in the military aspects right now, because technology is always evolving. And, like you said, a lot of companies are going to start implementing as much as they can. Everybody's going to have an IT department. Everyone's going to need to have design. Everything's going to have, software development and just things around those lines. We've sent a ton of kids working in the gaming industry itself. We have multiple graduates that work at Epic Games right now. Epic Games, BioWare, Warner Brothers. And then we did have one that he just applied to Bethesda, and he's currently working with them to see if he can get something worked out where he could actually move to Maryland and get a job set up. And
wow.
Else. So,
no, that's
really
great.
Cool.
So
we're sending kids, pretty much everywhere. It's great to just see where it's been growing and just seeing the different job and opportunities that each student can get, even starting their freshman year here. We offer as much, you'll get as much out of this as you want to put into it. So you can pretty much get an internship your freshman year and continuously work throughout.
Wow.
So,
yeah, that's great. And my understanding, talk a little bit about the resources. Well, actually, talk about a little bit about the actual degree itself, the technology and engineering degree and the fine arts degree itself, and then also what resources you provide to ensure the success that somebody can come in and really, get the knowledge that they need to go out and get a great career.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So the engineering aspect of the degree, which both degrees are titled under game and simulation. One will be for design and one will be for technology. The technology will be more of your engineering side. You're going to get that. There's going to be a computer engineering degree. You can turn around and use it for any programming aspects of anything, going into any master's programs, doctorates, whatever you need to do. What we offer on the technology side is a 24-hour lab, always accessible. Constant communication with the professors. Travis is one. I'm another resource. Jason Witherthal is another resource as well. We are always available. You can get a hold of us through our Discord, email, phone numbers. At Shawnee State, we are a smaller school, but, the professors know everybody by name, and you can pretty much go and talk to anyone and everyone at any point. That's just on the technology side. As far as the art side goes, the labs are open for 22 hours. They just need to close for 2 hours to upgrade some new equipment, change some paper here or there, printers, put brand new ink in. Those professors are available 24 hours as well. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to come in and talk to anybody. We are always available. We have a math lab constantly available. English lab as well for papers and anything else, as well as our Student Success Center, where the athletes and everyone will go. Is we have the opportunity to do study tables directly with professors or advisors and get as much information done as you can. We're actually going to be dedicating some more time to that this year coming up. So it's going to be pretty cool as we're going through all that. But, there are a ton of resources we have available on campus itself. Even if you're afraid to come talk, you can always communicate with one of the professors and they'll give you the information as soon as you can. And, don't be afraid to ask questions in class as well. But we have so many resources available, pretty much since day one you get here, you have so many resources. It's amazing. So
that's great. Wow. So it sounds like you have a pretty robust department to ensure the success of the kids whenever they're going and learning these various degrees, particularly in tech.
Oh, yeah. And one more thing I forgot to add. A lot of the resources we also offer is we go to a ton of conferences, conventions around the nation. We've been to GDC, ECGC, currently planning on a PAX trip, and we will offer those trips to students as well. So they will have the option to go and talk to industry leaders. We go to Columbus every other weekend for trade shows, talking to brand new technology development companies in Columbus, Cincinnati. We've even been to Louisville a couple times. So pretty cool.
So does that networking help the students, with their career path afterwards, or what kind of career development do you guys have at the school?
So we do have a career development department on campus that'll help get the right communication out there for everyone. But the networking you can do, just having the option to go yourself and talk to someone who's working in the industry, ECGC, you're talking to Epic, you're talking to some of the Fortnite developers and understanding, why they did what they did, and you can ask the questions that you wanted to always ask, and you're afraid to ask in a Reddit Q&A. You can actually ask in person. So that's really cool. Our career development also will bring in a ton of speakers every time. I know for this last semester, we had a couple of professors coming in from outside and industry leaders who are, basically Skyping into the classrooms and talking to every single, person and just letting them know, hey, do you have any questions about this? And they're able to talk and communicate. And this happens throughout the year. Sometimes it's unannounced and you'll just be coming to class and you're going to have someone from EA sitting right in there with you, talking to you. Wow. Same with Midway, same with, we've had Ed Boon a couple times here. So it's pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds great. So it's a robust program with a lot of support and also a support system for you to network out. So you can kind of get your career path going as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay, good. Well, let's then kind of move on to, I think, what a lot of you are really looking at learning about and understanding, and that is how you can play at a collegiate level on an esports team, in an esports league at a collegiate level, and earn a scholarship. So let's talk first about your esports program. What games do you offer? Kind of what your vision of the program is, and how our listeners can really kind of fit in.
Okay, cool. So our esports program is based in the athletic department. We are directly in athletic sport, full athletic coverage that gives you every access to trainers, early registration for classes, facilities, and even just some of the perks of just being an athlete, being able to travel and go do a lot of things and being able to participate in a ton of community events as well. Our program itself will be supporting 6 games this coming fall. Those games are Smite, Overwatch, League of Legends, Rocket League, Hearthstone, and Paladins. So those will be all of ours that we will be offering. We have an expansion, an idea for what we want to do for 2019 that does include Rainbow Six Siege. We're just waiting on some of these brand new conferences to show up and more tournaments being available. We're also going to dabble a bit into Fortnite this year as well. We're going to see how well it goes because I know Ashland University, they're doing a little Fortnite season, so I've been in communication with them. But we're going to be offering games, those 6 games and then more, every year. So if the game isn't available right now, it probably will be within the next year or even half a year. I know January they're adding more games, so this is going to constantly change.
Oh, that's great. And I know we here at eSports Toolbox are aware of a number of colleges that offer 1 or 2 games. How unique is it that you actually offer 6 today and are considering adding more, year over year?
That was kind of a brainchild that I had for a while. I've always wanted to. I know a lot of schools that offer the 1 to 2, but I know with the culture of Shawnee State and it being gaming, I understand that we have our club teams, which a huge shout out to our clubs teams. If we didn't have the club team support we had, this esports program would have never got off the ground. So big kudos to those guys, especially the Hearthstone guys a couple of years ago that made it to the TESPA National Championship, and they actually placed 4th. So that was a huge, huge boost that we were able to turn around and use. But those guys have been at the forefront of this. They've been ones I've been able to call and communicate and ask questions to. A lot of our U-All teams as well. But, the club team aspect we had, and just where there's different games offered, and we have a huge Smash community here, a huge League of Legends community, a huge Overwatch community. Just in my mindset, it was easier for us to offer all the games, the 6 that we've decided on, or we have teams that are ready to go immediately. And these are guys that have played together for a while, brand new recruits coming in, international recruits as well, just being able to get as much information together as they can. But what makes it very, very unique is just being able to offer that, and everyone has the opportunity to do whatever game they want. So if you're playing Hearthstone and you really like Rocket League and you want to try it, you can transition and practice and try it out and see. You might be one of the best players we have. So
wow,
that's another cool element we have. Yeah.
So that's really unique. And now, since you are a gaming focused school, or you have a large gaming program, I should say, does that actually help your esports team?
Yeah. As far as the degree wise goes, we have a majority of them are game design majors, but I have a ton of business majors, education majors. And I do have a nursing student coming in this year. We're going to see how well that goes, because nursing is one of the harder programs we have here. So
sure,
hopefully they can do it. I'm fully pulling for them because I want them to do it, because it'd just be cool. But, it gets challenging. But, the gaming culture here, it's definitely been a huge support, just from the community itself, not the ones that just want to play, but, in the actual community of Portsmouth and the students coming back. There are students excited to actually come and check out the games, and are so happy we're on Twitch and they can actually come and check out the games and buy a gaming chair and just have the support, buy a t-shirt. There's just a ton of things happening right now, and it's crazy. So,
right. Yeah. And you guys, my understanding is that, the players really kind of are able to benefit from some of the infrastructure that you guys have from your gaming degree. And not only that, you are making some other investments into infrastructure with the arena, right?
Yeah. So we have we're calling it our arena right now, but it's our new gaming commons that we're just building. We're actually finishing that right now. That's where we'll be for about a year and a half. And then we are currently looking at a brand new place to build an actual arena. Once we are done with that, we'll have full seating, concessions available. It's right next to a hotel, so we'll be able to bring a ton of people in. I'm hoping to have offices over there. We can have recruiting rooms. Just have a huge development in an area where we can dedicate everything to everybody, and that being club in mind as well. So if they wanted to have a Smash tournament, they could do it there and have, 40 plus people in there playing Smash. And then we could even have a tournament going on at the same time, and it's not going to affect anybody. So that's something really cool we're looking into. But yeah, we're doing a lot. The school is behind us 110%, and that's great. It's just
absolutely,
the future expansions we're planning are just amazing. So.
Well, good. So it sounds like this is almost like a ground level opportunity, or you guys are kind of at the ground level of, what is one of the fastest growing sports out there. So that's fantastic. So tell us a little bit then about, for our listeners out there, what would a day in the life at Shawnee State look like? What would it look like, kind of your school day, and then the practice day, and, kind of what would that look like to somebody, a listener out there?
So if you were, depending on what time you want to start class, you could start at 8 a.m. I'm one of the firm believers to just get it done as soon as possible. When I was in college, I would wake up and do class at 8 a.m. and be done by noon every day.
Nice.
That was just me, because I just wanted to have free time in the afternoon and being able to go do things. That's completely up to them. Practices we're aiming are going to be like 6 to 8 o'clock at night. We'll be in there practicing, going over game footage, playing games, going over some patch notes, brand new, if there's changes, a new hero coming out. If we have a tournament coming up, we're going to check out footage and just check out the other teams. just go from the forefront of that. But the labs, you'll always have access to those. So if you are, need homework done or whatever, you can go in there as well. In the actual training area we have now, we have 3 quiet rooms, which you can go in and have access to and just be in there. And they are like soundproof. So you can be in there and just kind of do what you need to do, and you're not going to be bothered by anything going on outside. But, your days can be as lax as you want or as hectic as you want. I mean, it's completely up to you. So.
Wow. Okay. And then what are your practice? What does a practice normally look like?
Depending on the year, if we can actually go outside and do things, we'll actually be training, physically, not running strenuously, but we'll be out doing activities, hand-eye coordination things. We did implement a wellness program this just a couple of weeks ago, and we've actually started that. So that's going to be our main focus for this fall, is just to have this wellness manual for everyone they can follow and just have the option. Because, the healthier your mind is, the better you're going to play, the better you're going to feel. The more you sleep, the more you can actually take care of yourself. Diet, the little things no one thinks about, drinking a glass of water here and there can really change how you're feeling throughout the day. So really cool. But then, if it's like winter and it's crazy, because Ohio does have some pretty crazy winters, but we'll be able to do a lot of things. We have access to the swimming pool, so there will be some practice that we're going to come over and swim. We're going to change practice up as much as we can, just keep it interesting and not get the burnout that I know will happen.
Right.
Be able to understand and let them, you're here as a student athlete first. You're going to be a student, but you're going to have fun as an athlete as well, because sports are fun.
Right.
At the core are fun. So you're still going to have fun,
Yeah. I bet there's a lot of camaraderie between the players too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when no one's really in yet. And just over the summer, they've met over Discord, and they've been just, I know they were talking about a couple things earlier today, and it was just, you're sitting there laughing and cracking up because they're just, they haven't met in person, but they're just so, I know they're really excited for Z, our Chinese student coming in, who will be here. They're all excited to meet her, and she's excited to come and play Overwatch for us. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting. Well, let's talk then a little bit then about, so we understand what the school is about now. We've learned more about the programs that are available. And we've talked a little bit about the esports program, what games you can play. Let's talk now a little bit about how would somebody go about, like, what are the requirements, A, to get in the college, and then B, we can talk a little bit more about the scholarship opportunities and what the requirements are for those. And those are a little bit, obviously, you have to have a little bit higher requirements for the scholarships, and we're going to talk about that. But let's talk first about what is required just to get into Shawnee State as a student.
Okay. So just to get into Shawnee State, you would apply first. We do have a recruit page. I know we were talking about putting that up somewhere, but we do have a recruit me page. You can fill it out with all the information, and that'll get sent directly to me, and then I can immediately make contact with whoever. That also goes to our admissions department, and they can start the enrollment process as well right there. You'll just apply. You are going to have the same eligibility requirements as an NAIA school. So you're going to have to meet 2 of the 3 immediately. This goes just to get into, an athletic program. You have to graduate with a 2.0 GPA, graduate the top 10% of your class, and then ACT score of 16, but I believe it's changing to an 18. So you would have an ACT score of an 18 or an SAT score of 860. So if you hit 2 of those 3 requirements, you're good to go. You do not have to go in the clearinghouse right now. I know that's something that's going to be coming down the line, but they haven't announced when that'll be. But that's what you would have to do to get here on campus. And then we have other requirements, like you were talking about, for scholarships that we can get into. But just for the esports program, the GPA requirement is going to be a 2.5. That was a decision made by a lot of the departments together. We were talking about the program and how, they've seen the difference, especially since last semester where we were talking about esports and going to more tournaments, these students putting in a lot more effort. So the 2.5 GPA, we can actually hold them to a higher standard as opposed to any other athletes on campus, which doesn't differentiate them at all, but it also makes them, it's more of an elite club kind of.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And esports, I mean, it's like kind of any competitive thing out there. That, like, you know, you want to make sure that you have a higher standard, and you know that there's a level of thinking involved as well, right? So
Yes.
okay, so let's talk then about the different scholarship programs here. Why don't you just kind of give us an overview of some of the scholarships you have to offer? You know, my understanding is that there are scholarships as low as, you know, $250, and it goes all the way up to where you can get basically a full ride.
Yeah.
So why don't you kind of go over some of those scholarship opportunities, and, you know, some of the requirements for those, and give our listeners a little bit more detail with regard to that.
So probably one of the biggest ones that we do offer, it's through a program called Choose Ohio First. It is a full ride to Shawnee State University. It is for females and minorities. You do have to have a 3.2 GPA and an ATC score of 21. And then you apply directly through our admissions department, and they will handle all of that throughout. We also offer a ton of academic scholarships. Those go, I mean, like you said, those range from $250 all the way up to a full ride as well. Those are GPA based, ATC based, and even SAT based as well. So we'll offer those. As far as athletics is going to offer for this year coming up, I am offering 10 $3,000 scholarships. And you can turn around and get as many scholarships as you want as you play through the tournaments as well. I know the first big tournament coming up is a Smite tournament for $50,000. First place players get $8,000 per player, and there's 5 players on that. And then we will get $25,000 for the program as well. So pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so there's a ton of scholarships available here. Like I said, academic, athletic, you know.
Great.
Region-based, there is a ton. And then we even signed Midwest Pact last year, and that counts for 13 states that we offer in-state tuition to. Those states do include Indiana, Illinois, North Dakota, and let me double check real quick. Hang on, give me a second.
No worries.
I'm just gonna list this off real quick. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah. No worries. We have time.
All right, so it's Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, South Dakota, and Wisconsin.
So if one of our listeners is, you know, in one of those states, what exactly does that mean for them?
So you would apply to Shawnee State University, and you would be offered in-state tuition as opposed to out-of-state tuition.
Wow.
That is a huge boost, because that's a savings of like $20,000 per year.
Wow.
So it's pretty. It's one of the bigger ones.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. Okay, good. So if they're in one of those states, if you're a listener and you're in one of the states that Kyle listed off, then you actually could apply to Shawnee State and get in-state tuition because of their part of this pact. That's fantastic. Okay, good. So we talked about some of those scholarships. Now let's talk then about, and for any listener out there, if you have any questions, feel free to write it below in the comments, and we'll get back to you. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to just write it below in the comments, and either eSports Toolbox or Kyle will get back to you. And at the end of this webinar, we're going to provide you with the information so you can go to our website and get all the information and actually fill out the application form, so Shawnee State can actually get that, and you can get started getting more information and start on the process of playing esports at Shawnee State. So we talked about then the program and the scholarships. Let's talk a little bit about how our listeners could get recruited. You know, how if they're already playing one of these 6 games, or even some of the games you're planning on offering, what is the best way for them to share their information with you, so that you can so you can take a look at them, evaluate them, and see if they're right for the esports program that you offer.
Okay. So when we are recruiting, it's not just me checking out the footage. I have 2 additional assistant coaches that are always checking out footage as well. I have game footage sent to me every day. And I'm a very busy individual, so I can sit sometimes and watch a couple of seconds here or there. The only things I don't ask is don't send me full streams of like 4 hours at a time, because I can't sit and watch those. That happens a lot. But a lot of the highlight clips that I'll get are pretty great. But we are on Be Recruited. That is one of the huge platforms that I'm actually been using. You can get on there and, contact Shawnee State as well as our recruit page. Get a hold of me directly. My information is on our website at ssubears.com. You can go directly to the eSports tab and get a hold of me from there, and all the information is right there for me. We are always available. We're always on, leaderboards and other things, checking out as much as we can. If you're going to apply, send your gamer tag as well. Send what your BattleNet tag is, what your things are that what you're proud of, what achievements you've had. Send those as well, and we can always check those out. But that's one of the huge elements, is just being able to communicate and just being able to talk. And, we can get you in the Discord server and actually play with actual players on our team. And some of us, when we have time, the coaches will get on there and play as well. So
wow, that's great.
One of the huge things we do. Yeah.
Great. Well, that's fantastic. Well, I think we covered kind of everything from who Shawnee State is, what the programs that are offered, what the esports program is all about. And just so you know, for your listeners out there, if you're interested in getting more information, and Kyle, what we're going to offer is we're going to allow them to input their information, basically their gamer tag, as well as the information that you guys would look for into a form. We'll actually have that on esportstoolbox.com/Shawnee. That's esportstoolbox.com/Shawnee. And you can actually get that information. That page isn't up yet, but it will be. And you can get that information to Kyle and his team, and that will allow you guys to, start that process. So, Kyle, did you want to add anything else, or is there anything else that we should talk about before we kind of wrap this up?
One of the biggest things we do have coming up here, we are going to be offering a Shawnee Game Conference coming up this year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Every year. It is on November 2nd. So that is all the information will be on the website here shortly. That is on campus. So if you are interested in that, kind of check it out. I'll give the little logo and what it's going to look like. It's on our website. And you can come check that out. Come to campus. We brought in Obsidian last year. They were able to sit down and talk to quite a few students, give information. We have a showcase of just games put out by current students, alumni as well. We're going to be doing some tournaments this year, esports-wise. We're talking about a Rocket League tournament. We do our League of Legends tournament every year as well. So that's one of the cool things we do offer on campus. And there's always events like this happening on campus all the time. So
that's great.
Yeah, that was one of the only things I wanted to add. So
no, this is great. And so now that we've kind of gone through the overview, we do have a few questions coming in, Kyle. So do you mind answering a few of these questions?
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Great. And if you guys have any other questions, feel free to go ahead and type them in to the chat box or comment below if you're watching a recorded version. So the first question is, how are the scholarships awarded? So we talked about the academic scholarships.
Yeah.
And if you know exactly how those are awarded, that'd be great. And then talk a little bit about how you determine how you award a scholarship, a sport and athletic scholarship as well.
Okay. So the academic scholarships are merit-based. So those are GPA required, ACT required, even graduation requirements. If you graduate within a top 5% of your class or something like that, those are awarded on that. That is actually broken down on our financial aid website. It's on shawnee.edu. Go to financial aid, and it'll break down the scholarship totals and how the academic are broke down. Athletically, we will offer, the $10,000, $3,000 ones by, merit kind of, if you're playing, skill-based as well. We're not going to give it away to someone who just, shows up and kind of doesn't care. We want, the passionate players here, the ones that are going to put the effort forth, and pretty much, put the effort in and make sure that just to better the program. That's one of the main focuses we've been putting in on this. But that's where we're going to issue those. And I will always be getting new scholarships because we have sponsors constantly giving us stuff. So we'll be able to turn around and, get scholarships out throughout the year. So
got it. And are all these scholarships available for just new students, or are current students eligible?
Current students and new students.
Okay, great. Are there any positions on esports for students who aren't necessarily the best at playing video games? So, for example, are there kind of ancillary positions where they can help out with the esports program or anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah, we're actually working on that right now. I've been working with our production crew who do a Sportsnet on campus. It's one of our athletic showcases where they show basketball games, baseball games, soccer games. We're actually going to be going through Twitch. We're going to have a production team we're putting together. We also will be offering scholarships for announcers as well. Everyone who is a part of this will be considered into the team. So if you're not playing, but you're on the production thing, you're still going to be a part of the team.
Wow.
It's a full, we're a full working program together. I don't want anyone to feel like they're not included because everyone's going to be a part of this, announcers as well, because you'll be able to communicate and call games when you want, because maybe you're not the best at playing, but the game better than anybody. And you can sit and talk, Hearthstone until, everyone is like, stop. But it's great to have that because, I know a couple of times that we've done it. We've had a couple of students here who just will talk and talk and talk, and it's fantastic because that's what you want. It's just someone constantly talking. Right.
Exactly. Well, good. Well, that's fantastic. Well, I want to thank you, Kyle, for your time. For those of you who attended, thank you very much for taking the time. Glad you were able to learn more about Shawnee State. Go to esportstoolbox.com/Shawnee. And fill out the application so you can get more information to play at Shawnee State. If you want to attend Shawnee State, you can get more information that way. And also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking subscribe below. And we really look forward to getting you the information you need and helping the Shawnee State esports program grow. So thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Kyle, very much for this great informative webinar. Appreciate your time. And we're really looking forward to seeing the success at Shawnee State.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank everyone for attending. This was awesome. I love doing this stuff. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Goodbye.
See ya.
All right. Bye.